The following is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on News Talk 580 KMJ and 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Well, good morning, Central California. Happy Sunday. What was that? It sounded boop.
Johnny.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to hear you.
I am your host, Craig Barton, and I am amongst friends this Sunday morning. You know, the most important and informative hour of radio each week here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. You know, within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted financial advice from some friends on Sunday morning. And that's exactly what you're going to hear every Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on News Talk. That's me freestyling. Right
well,
there.
we have friends today. I like that. I like that we have good friends.
Yeah.
Surprise, good friends.
Surprise. Johnny, aren't we normally good friends here in the studio on Sunday mornings?
You guys, you know.
I'm talking about our special guest. We have a special, Mr. Tom Hyatt.
Well, thank you very much
from
for the
Hyatt Real
opportunity.
Estate.
Thank you, Craig.
How are you, sir?
Yeah. Doing well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to go to bed and the next morning wake up in this beautiful city. I love it here.
See,
isn't that the truth?
Can we appoint him the official ambassador to Fresno
of Goodwill? I don't know. I don't know if he wants that job. The ambassador.
I'll tell you, I'd love it.
Oh,
what an easy thing to sell.
I love that.
There you go.
I really do.
It is, leading with the right attitude. Look at Johnny this morning. He's a big old smile on his face. He didn't shave. He's looking all gruff. I mean, I didn't mean gruff in a bad way. Usually you think of gruff like a, 85-year-old man that gripes a lot. So, not that kind of gruff.
Whoa. That's right.
Rough. Okay, this is going bad. Tom Hyatt from Hyatt Real Estate here in the studio. And Lisa Casso.
Good morning.
Gigi galore. Here in the studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, really.
Really. Thank you for that reference.
Thanks for getting up this morning.
Of course.
The Real Estate Radio Network gets us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently, one full hour each and every week. Our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, some sound financial advice, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate and financial market. We're going to share with you some financial secrets that the big banks and Andrew Mozilo don't want us to... Oh, I'm sorry.
That was
a little foreshadowing. Sorry. The big banks in Wall Street don't want you to hear. So we can help bring you back home. Just watch the documentary, The Inside Job. Go to the website, www.theotherschooloofeconomics.com. And you can also search it on YouTube. You won't be able to see the entire documentary on YouTube, but go to theotherschooloofeconomics.com, and that'll tell you a little bit about the relationship between our beloved federal government, Wall Street. Yes, I did say Wall Street. That used to, never mind. Wall Street, as well as academics nationwide. Really? There is a serious problem with a whole lot of hands in the cookie jar. So, yeah, it's a little disturbing. On today's show, buyers using social media. Obviously, that is on the rise. But to what extent, and why is it so important that when you begin the search for your next home, that you pay attention? Obviously, it pays to be social. And Andrew Mozilo speaks. I have absolutely no regrets with Countrywide! Exclamation point. Or something like that. Yeah, well, he's getting sued, too. And the Federal Housing Administration to eliminate post-payment interest. Yeah, they collect interest 1 month at a time. Always. Until now. And there's good news for borrowers as Fannie Mae introduces a new conventional flexible loan term product. So helping those folks that are really preparing or planning for retirement to have their mortgage paid off by the time they retire. Nice. And how to get a mortgage right now, even if your credit is, and if you were in the studio or the studio had eyes, I'm giving a little quote-unquote, even if your credit was not so perfect. And the U.S. is unprepared to meet the housing needs of its aging population. And I would say, just real quickly, not only is the U.S. not ready, but it starts with us. We are not ready to address our needs as we age. And it really does start with us. Then, conversely, then I really think you look on a much grander scale as far as the United States is concerned. We're also going to take some listener questions, so make sure you stay with us. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or a topic that you would really like us to share on the show, and in hopes that our panel can give you some sound advice to help you in your world, it all starts with one phone call. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us right now. You can listen to actually all KMJ programming at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website. You can listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network. You can also search for your next home. You can even apply for a mortgage or get a quote on, hey, whereabouts would I be if I was purchasing a home for $300,000 and my credit was great and I was looking for a 15-year term. We can actually give you an estimate of exactly what you would be looking at in terms of principal and interest payments, including taxes, including insurances, including mortgage insurance. Just go to valleywidesells.com. Well, let's take a look at today's hot property. Today's hot property is brought to you by Lisa Casso. Lisa wants this property sold right now. Oh, I'm so
Monday
sorry.
Monday morning. Contract on my desk, please.
Contract on my desk.
Getting a little bossy, aren't I?
No, you know what? It's
a great house.
It's a great, honestly, it really is a great house. The seller's motivated. Today's hot property is brought to you by our friend Bert Welsh at Wynn Home Inspections. If you're looking for a residential home inspection and you need a professional that will be honest, straight, and upfront with you about this property that is one of the largest purchases of your lifetime, call Bert today at 559-363-4080. See, I paused real quick.
I thought you lost it. I was panicking. Where is it?
Yeah. You know, there's a protein in your brain that if you don't have enough of it, things stop firing, right, Tom? I wasn't trying to drag you down with me. I'm just saying.
Believe you me, I'm there with you.
So I am protein deficient upstairs in the old noggin. 559-363-4080. Well, today's hot property is 5649. Again, you must have an offer in by Monday morning, or Lisa will come and hunt you down.
I won't come back.
You won't come back. Whatever. Oh, my gosh. First of all, you have to, okay? Secondarily, you do have clout. I just have to say that. 5649 West Weathermaker Avenue, Fresno, California. This 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,705 square feet, built in 2002 on a 6,100 square foot lot. This property has a super open floor plan. Mm-hmm. Really shows well. Does have an above-ground pool in the backyard that stays with the property. Also has a patio cover. It's a gazebo. It's a gazebo.
That's what we call it here in the States.
Yeah.
A gazebo.
Well, in Traver, I call it a patio cover. When I'm at home in Traver, on my expansive 6,000 square foot lot in my single wide, built in 48, Sorry, that just.
Mom, we're selling this house. Sorry, I sidetracked us.
Yeah, you did sidetrack us. Current list price. What's the list price, Lise?
I can't say it.
Okay, what is it?
I'm within the law.
Here, write it down right here. So Lisa's writing down the list price. It is actually $198,500.
Yeah, because I can't say it. Yeah. Not for another couple weeks. Legally, I can't.
She's actually studying for her exam.
She's right.
So if you'd like more information about today's hot property, this property is located within Central Unified School District. If you'd like more information about today's hot property, give us a call. We'd love to schedule a private showing. Call us on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. And we'll send you more information about this hot property right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Well, just to give you a little bit of a heads up in terms of our Market Pulse segment. Currently on the market, we've got 2,058 active listings as of this morning in Fresno County. Under roughly about 8% of our total active inventory would be considered distressed. Roughly 4% are short sales. Just under 4%, 3.7%, are considered real estate owned or foreclosure. so far over the last, say, 3 or 4 months, 4 months, we're trending about just under 700 closings each and every month. And we are back in what we consider fall and the busy time once folks return from summer vacation and doing what they do, taking kids to camp and this and that. Well, we are back in our routines, and folks should expect that this really is the busiest time of the year for us in fall and typically also in spring. So,
right.
If you're thinking of selling your home and you're just not exactly sure as to what your home is worth, we've got a free service for you. You can go to our website and you can go to valleywidehomevalues.com. Again, that's valleywidehomevalues.com. This is a free service. This will give you a ballpark. Keep in mind, this won't necessarily take into consideration if you've made some tremendous or major upgrades to the property. Let's say you've gone in and you've just recently spent about $30,000 on upgrading. We met with a potential client a couple weeks ago. An amazing home in Clovis. Had spent roughly $30,000 in upgrades, new floor covering, painted all the cabinets throughout, granite countertops all throughout. It was an amazing home in Clovis.
Since your wife doesn't listen, I can say you wanted to buy it right then and there.
I did. No, I went home and told her. I did.
I want it.
It was a phenomenal home, but keep in mind, it doesn't take into consideration the raw numbers. 1,756 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Clovis near this block, within a half-mile radius. Here's comparable single-story properties that have sold. You can never take that into consideration. So consider it a starting point in terms of the conversation. Please tell us a little bit more about what your property has. Have you made some upgrades? So if you feel like you get this number back and $254,500 is not really what you believe the property is worth, there's a reason. And you should be proud of the fact that you've made some improvements to the property. But give us a call so we can begin that conversation and help to educate you. If you did put in a pool and you spent $30,000, you may not get dollar for dollar. As a matter of fact, you won't get dollar for dollar back for what you put into the property. So again, that's valleywidehomevalues.com. After the break, we are going to cover some stories real quick. Angelo Mozilo speaks, and he has absolutely no regrets. And the Federal Housing Administration is going to eliminate post-payment interest charges. Kind of sounds like a prepayment penalty to me, doesn't it, Tom?
It does to me.
And one term does not fit all. There's good news for home buyers as Fannie Mae introduces the conventional flexible loan term program. Make sure you stay with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate. Here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Men, are you over 40 and experiencing decreased libido, decreased energy, decreased stamina, and decreased muscle mass? Are you just not motivated to get out and live life the way you used to? You might be experiencing the side effects of low testosterone. The treatment is simple, effective, and covered by almost all insurances. Don't let life pass you by. The Testosterone Optimization Program can help reverse the effects of low testosterone and premature aging. Studies have shown that going untreated, low testosterone can actually shorten life expectancy. We don't have to be satisfied with aging the way our fathers aged. Decrease the risks of age-related disease and get on your way to healthy aging. Take charge, take your life back, and call today. 844-TOP-HAT-1. That's 844-867-4281. And stop letting life pass you by. 844-TOP-HAT-1.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, one cool thing, buyers' media use of social media is actually on the rise. So what I said in the intro this morning, it's hard to not go social and not get something out of it. Over the last 4 years, the State of California Association of Realtors is talking about social media, or the percentage of California buyers utilizing social media. In 2011, it was estimated that 52% of those that were searching for homes were utilizing social media. In 2012, 68%, obviously, nice jump there. 2013, 75%, and 2014, 77%. Well, what exactly were they using it for? 44% are saying that they were using it for buyers' tips and suggestions from friends. You see that every once in a while. Hey, does anyone know of a great X or pool builder? Well, we
know great.
Yeah, Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff at Vineyard Pools. 44% asks for information about neighborhoods. Neighborhood information. In other words, tell us about a specific neighborhood, or anyone know anything about a neighborhood. I tell you what, it's the quickest and easiest message board that you could ever find. In terms of instant feedback, I think, and I tell kids all the time that that I'm very fortunate to work with, is you're always looking for instant feedback. Feedback that takes multiple days, and some feedback does take that long. But feedback that is instant, man, you can sure make a whole lot of strides by changing what you're doing. Or, let's say someone says, hey, does anyone know anything about this particular neighborhood, this cross street? And they go, good, bad, or indifferent as far as their experience has been. 35% talk about agent referrals. I like that.
I was going to say it needs to be higher.
Love that.
I would think it would be higher, unless, of course, you got to take this into consideration. Unless, of course, they already have an agent or referred by someone in their family that they know, that they like, that they trust, that's done business with someone in the family before, and you only use Jess because he's our family realtor.
Yeah,
that's right.
23%. Find information about home buying. Another 23% neighborhood profiles, and 20% go to the agent's YouTube channel.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Angelo Mozilo, you remember that name not too long ago. You know, I probably said this on the air. I was down in San Diego, oh my gosh, 8 or 10 years ago, for a National Association of Mortgage Bankers get together, and it was an amazing time. It was totally, completely amazing. Obviously, and spending time in heaven in San Diego it's hard enough. But I'm standing in the lobby, and here comes Angelo Mozilo walking by me, looking as dark plastic as it can get, because he sports.
You really feel, Craig?
Well, he no, I'm just saying he had this plastic look to him because he spends so much time out in the sun. But he was dressed to the nines. He doggone lives in a 12,650 square foot home in California right at the moment. He made, over that period of time, $500 million. Well, guess what? 6 years after he lost control of the largest mortgage lender in the United States, and just days after, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles planned to sue him. The Countrywide Financial Corp founder is baffled by a new effort to punish him. Proud of past triumphs and incensed by criticism, he remains a defender of Countrywide even after Bank of America was told that they had to purchase Countrywide, which bought it in 2008, agreed last month. Bank of America agreed, and we talked about it on the show last week, agreed to pay last month more than $16 billion. That's $999 million, plus another $16 million. That helps to give you perspective when you put a B in front, to end probes into mortgage bond sales, on top of about $55 billion in fines that came before. Mozilo doesn't understand why he and his firm are blamed by lawmakers and authorities for lax underwriting and predatory lending. That doesn't understand why he's been seen as villains. No, we didn't do anything wrong, he said, adding that a real estate collapse was the root of the crisis and that Countrywide or Mozilo didn't cause any of that. Tom, your take?
Well,
that's a mouthful, huh?
Oh, believe you me, I think he's really living in a dream world. But what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, I'd like to back up just a bit to the social media, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And why it's so very important to we as agents. Within the last year, there are a lot of folks that are aware that I have been actually working with my wife for 38 years in the real estate industry. Now, I've been in the real estate industry for 44 years, but social media, my life, and the changes as an agent. I saw my wife sit at her desk, write up a contract with the wife sitting across the desk from her, with her husband on Skype in Germany, send the documents over, get them signed and set back in the contract on a house that was very demanded in the Fresno, Hyatt area in less than 15 minutes.
Nice.
It kind of reminds me, I was actually sitting on my front porch about 5 years ago, and I've been trying to read this book that was written by Bill Gates, and it said, again, maybe social media, but the ability to get documentation from point A to point B. It indicated that anything that you're sending that gives you guaranteed delivery tomorrow, you're not in a hurry. Oh my God. But we as agents have to accept the opportunities that we have, whether it be social media, understanding the internet, technology, all these things that will give us the opportunity to be the agent that we need to be, to give the representation to our client that we need to, and realizing, like you said, the high percentage of our clients that the minute they leave us, they're going home and they're going on that computer and they're picking up information, whether it be whatever they are out there, Mozilo or whomever it may be. They are pulling this information up, and and a lot of times it's accurate, and then a lot of times it's not so accurate, but we have to know what they know. We have to be able to prove what they know, whether it's true or it's not true. But now I'll get off my soapbox on what we have to do. Any response that I give you today is going to be the response as an agent or an investor in real estate.
Absolutely.
But it's so important that we recognize social media and the importance it is to our buyers and our sellers and what they expect of us and our understanding and our performance within that part of our lives today. It's not going away. It's only going to get more demanding.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No. Don't apologize whatsoever. It's important that we have a grasp of social media.
Absolutely.
It's important that we also maintain a very high-profile presence within social media. And here's the reason why. I can't tell you the number of times in the last 6 months that I've had, and this is extremely important. I'm going to give you 2 examples, that someone contacted me via, let's say, Facebook or via LinkedIn and said, hey, Craig, my wife and I want to begin looking for our next home. We lost our home 5 years ago, so we have a foreclosure that we've got to deal with. Not really sure where to go or what to do. Could you help? Absolutely. Conversely, so that was a success story, and since closed escrow. Right. Second story is I had someone that I've known for one of my best friends and his little brother and their quote-unquote little sister. They called her their little sister. She made a comment on Facebook just within the last couple of weeks and said, Craig, I know what you do. And we've had this, Lisa and I have had this conversation before on air. I know what you do, but for all those people out there that don't, could you elaborate? And I thought, once again, I mean, very, very good point. And I feel like my team, that we do a pretty doggone great job. But again, there's always room for improvement. So no matter how great a job, not all that you do, that you, yourself, your team, your wife, whatever it is, do in terms of getting the news out there or making sure that you engage people, you can always do a better job. And don't ever assume, because obviously not every post that you put out there is going to be seen by everyone. It really isn't. So I totally concur. I think it's important. Technology obviously plays a huge part in what we do. This last weekend, let's see here, Saturday afternoon, showed a property. Folks walked in. I've been working with these clients on and off for a little over 2 years, and the wife said 2 thumbs up right there and then, said, let's roll, let's do it. Got in the car, called the listing agent on the way home. I said, you know what, I will write up an offer. You'll have it shortly. Unfortunately, because of it being a short sale, it was an approved short sale, and Ocwen was the first lien holder. Ocwen does not accept digital signatures. They only accept wet signatures. So had to print it out, take it to the client, get them to sign it, and then get it back over to the selling agent. But at least, I'm not the selling agent, the listing agent, but at the very least, the listing agent had the ability to be able to convey to his sellers that actually reside out of state, I'm in receipt of a full price offer, super clean, doesn't ask for any inspections, and to be quite frank, they want to close in like 3 weeks, so with a lot of money down.
Well, in regards to the short sale, let me just throw this in. In fact, we're currently involved with a short sale, and the banks are getting a little tougher now from the standpoint you send in an approved or a short sale that's been accepted by the seller. But we have to remember, the seller's not going to make the final decision on the short sale. Absolutely. It's going to be the bank or the beneficiary. Well, now there is a new wrinkle coming out of some of these associations where once they have received your offer, there's about a 20-day waiting period. While during that 20-day waiting period, they actually assign this home to an auction company. And the auction company they want to go out and present this to the in a different way
to the market and see what kind of
And it's very important that your contractor, your buyer, become a member of that of one of those people that auction. Now, his auction is going to be that accepted contract. Because if you find yourself in the position where you have to increase your offer, you have to at least been a member of the pool in order to do that. Now, one of the advantages is once they put it in that auction pool, anybody but other than you has to pay 5% over and above your price that you're bidding to cover what they call the expense of the auctioning company. So short sales today are getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and buyers are getting, oh my God, when is this going to end? And they're right.
And thank goodness there's only roughly 75 active short sales in Fresno County right at the moment.
Thank God I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Mr. Barton.
Yeah, join the crowd.
Mr. Barton's got a couple.
Yeah, we got a few. Let's talk about FHA to eliminate post-payment interest. Up until recently, the Federal Housing Administration collected interest 1 month at a time. So if they received your payoff, that's why it was so important to close at the very least at the end of the month, so that you could get a wire off to the servicer, so they wouldn't charge you another full month's of interest if the payment was received, if the payoff was received, let's say on the 2nd of the following month. So now what they're saying, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau has now put the Federal Housing Administration and the Department of Housing and Urban Development on notice and told them, I'm sorry, but this really resembles what they call a prepayment penalty, which are no longer acceptable as far as the CFPB is concerned. So the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, once may have been a little too big for their britches, now have been told you've got to get to step in and get in line with what we expect, and there aren't any more prepayment penalties. So when you pay off an FHA loan, guess what? Whenever you pay it off, you stop paying interest upon receipt of that payoff from the actual servicer. Tom brought up something I think that was extremely, extremely important. Governor Brown to consider property tax postponement program bill to help California's seniors and disabled citizens. This is called AB 2231. Tom, give us a little bit of a background. You had said that this was actually something that had been in place.
It was in place up until around 2008 or 9. And for whatever reason, the state of California, I'm assuming, to increase their cash flow.
I know what reason. Come on now. They needed to make sure that was another hole in the boat they plugged.
They plugged the hole in the boat is right. But now there's a proposal of which I cannot imagine that it won't be signed and accepted that will allow senior citizens over 62, limited income, the ability to postpone their tax bill until one of two things occur. Obviously, they move out of the house or they sell it. Then that will be what's classified as a senior lien. Now, my only question is, I'm assuming that this procedure will be accepted by the lender, because I can't imagine that the lender will do anything if their loan is current and you have a low-income disabled individual and a senior citizen that is postponing that property tax bill until either they leave the property and leave it, whether they do it in the form of going to a convalescent home or wherever they may go, or they sell their home. I think it's a very good program. I support Governor Brown. I salute him and I'm certain from everything I hear, he will sign this, and I'm glad to see it part of our terrain again.
It's very interesting. Jim Patterson was actually quoted in this particular article that this was a self-sustaining program that generated nearly $41 million in revenue during the 32 years that it was in place. So mark my word, this is not something that when they're talking about postponing payment, because that's all this is, postponing payment with interest, that it actually is a self-sustaining program.
Self-sustaining.
And it touched so many lives of Californians that actually truly needed it. And Assemblyman Patterson says it is definitely time to bring it back. And I think it's a great thing to see.
It is. And I can tell you, up until 2009, there was not one single foreclosure by any lender against any senior citizen or disabled individual that had to postpone their tax bill. This is a win-win situation.
Well, there's a lot of seniors coming. We're going to talk about it in a little bit here. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or a comment, or let's say it's a question about something that is going on in your life, and we could be a resource for you. We can talk about it on the show. We can answer answer it via email. We can answer it via telephone. We can actually do some research for you, or actually contact an expert that maybe possesses some expertise in another area, like let's say estate planning, or maybe it's bankruptcy advice that you need. Or let's say you want some information about life insurance and you just don't know where to look. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also check for your next home, or search for your next home. Check for your next home. Yes, check for your next home at valleywidesells.com. Again, that's Valleywide ValleyWideSells.com. Well, again after the break, how to get a mortgage right now, even with quote-unquote not so perfect credit. And the United States is really underprepared to meet the housing needs of its aging population. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate. You're on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Men, are you over 40 and experiencing decreased libido, decreased energy, decreased stamina, and decreased muscle mass? Are you just not motivated to get out and live life the way you used to? You might be experiencing the side effects of low testosterone. The treatment is simple, effective, and covered by almost all insurances. Don't let life pass you by. The Testosterone Optimization Program can help reverse the effects of low testosterone and premature aging. Studies have shown that going untreated, low testosterone can actually shorten life expectancy. We don't have to be satisfied with aging the way our fathers aged. Decrease the risks of age-related disease and get on your way to healthy aging. Take charge, take your life back, and call today. 844-TOP-HAT-1. That's 844-867-4281. And stop letting life pass you by. 844-TOP-HAT-1.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing in wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at ValleyWideSells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Hey guys, some great news from Fannie Mae. There is good news from Fannie Mae. It actually introduced I know, it sounds like an oxymoron. There is good news from Fannie Mae. They'll still take your money.
No kidding.
News at 11. They introduced a new conventional flexible loan term program that allows a borrower to choose their own term on a conventional fixed-rate mortgage. Just when you said, Tom, that you thought you had seen it all, and not that this is a big thing, but you and I being, old mortgage folk, when you see something like this, like you had said earlier, you used to be able to, here you go, vanilla all the way. You get a 30-year fixed rate, and maybe there's a 15. All right, you get two choices. Which one you want?
That's right.
Well, now a borrower could typically, up till now, a borrower did have a few more choices than back in the day. A 10-year, a 15-year, a 20-year, or a 30-year fixed-rate term. Again, with no prepayment penalty, right. Tom. Now a borrower can choose any term they want between 8 and 30 years.
Nice.
So if you have a goal of retiring, let's say in 22 years, you can choose a 22-year fixed-rate mortgage so you can be on track to be free in 22 years for retirement. Now, then I'll say this. So you're mortgage-free at that point in time, still responsible for your taxes and insurances, unless, of course, you are a senior, which means that if this AB 2231 comes into to be passed into law again, then they would not be responsible. They'd be responsible for their property taxes, but they wouldn't be forced to pay them. Right. It would accrue interest. They will be responsible for their homeowner's insurance, so make sure you're paying that on an annual basis. Unless we see something as far as mortgage or homeowner's insurance. I don't know that the insurance industry is going to get all that generous. Sorry, that came out the wrong way. But then you could, let's say, think about taking a reverse mortgage. If you had some sort of goal at that point in time down the road and you were wanting to get a reverse mortgage, keep in mind, if you're able to borrow up to, depending upon your age, up to roughly like 60% of the current fair market value of a property.
Right.
With a reverse mortgage, you don't have to make payments.
Right.
Now, not only will you not have to make payments, but if you're able to, and again, I don't know this answer, you might know this, Tom, but if you're able to couple a reverse mortgage with AB 2231.
I was going to ask, actually, after last week.
You're going to have to pay your homeowner's insurance, but maybe the servicer would allow you to not have to pay your property taxes if you were eligible under this particular program. Keep in mind, you could borrow on a $200,000 home up to 60% or $120,000 of that if you had a goal. Let's say you were wanting to invest in your grandchild's education or something along those lines. You wanted to get some money distributed to your heirs while you were still alive. You could do that with a reverse mortgage and not have any payments. Now, Tom, you had brought up something with regards to reverse mortgages.
I did. And I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, the reverse mortgage is one of the greatest opportunities there are for our seniors there is since sliced bread. Now, they've expanded the capability of a reverse mortgage where now it's possible to get a reverse mortgage on a jumbo loan. Now, up until this point, typically the reverse mortgage was more in line of a conventional loan, but there are one or two lenders across the nation now that will go up to as high as $2 million on a reverse product. Now, backing up again, now obviously we're talking about 60% loan to value now. It could very well be an adjustment of the terms of that or, loan to value to that. However, one of the things that the only qualification that the reverse mortgage folks are concerned about at this point is the ability to, throughout the life of that reverse mortgage, which means that it's outstanding. You make no payments at all until you have vacated the property in whatever way. But it does intend that your insurance and your taxes are paid. So I don't know what effect this bill is in the state of California is going to have on the reverse mortgage nationwide. I don't have the answer to that, and that's still out to be called to this point.
Sure.
But the most important part of this is that now you can borrow or you can receive a reverse mortgage on a jumbo product, which was unheard of until
absolutely.
now. Unheard of.
As you see, so a couple things. Let's kind of say what if. 10 years ago, those folks that were making reverse mortgages before really the reverse mortgage market dried up with the Great Recession.
Yep.
The second Great Recession, we should say. They keep calling it the Great Recession. Well, just because this one was so recent and so great doesn't mean that we don't pay homage to the first one that we saw in 1929. So let's make sure we get that straight.
Absolutely.
But as far as reverse mortgages, they had, for all intents and purposes, gone away with the crash of the real estate market nationally. But since then, and since we have seen really a loosening of credit standards, now it is not surprising. You've got what couple things on the horizon? You've got equity coming back at record numbers and record percentages. Yes. You've got folks nationally, we're all getting older.
We are. And
baby boomers, there's a good friend of mine just said recently there's some million, it's a big number of folks every single day turning 62.
Right.
So it really is no surprise. To me, that we're seeing a product like this because equity on the rise, the number of seniors, those folks turning 62 daily, it kind of fits. It is a safer time to get into the water as far as investors or Wall Street is concerned than it has been in quite some time. So it's just like back in the day, Tom, when the 125% products actually went away because really secondary market said, this isn't going to end up good for us if we hang out and we keep making these loans. This is headed to a cliff at some point, so it's time to turn our shingle, gone fishing, and we'll be back at some point. And I don't know that they will be back per se, but so it's not surprising. So,
well, I think, Craig, the thing that we're going to see, or we're seeing now, is more responsible lending guidelines. I don't think there's anyone that can argue with that point anymore.
Like 100% of all loans are checked as far as what's filed with the IRS. It's called a 4506.
4506.
So don't think that you're going to give us a set of tax. That's one
that
thing.
Aren't real.
That aren't real. Don't think you're going to give us a set of tax returns with really big numbers and then, quote unquote, you never filed those with the IRS.
Oh, I agree. Now, I have been in the real estate industry for over 45 years, and I can tell you right now, I'd never seen a decade that if you bought a house in year 1, in year 10, it was worth more than you paid for it in year 1.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, during this period of time where we were a little loose in our lending guidelines, it created a problem that unfortunately has basically tainted the mind of some of our young people that really got hurt really bad.
Right.
And I wish that there was a way we could turn away from that, and the lenders are beginning to do that. But in any event, we have reached a point now where we've been more responsible in our decision-making in home ownership.
In those generations that come after us, it may be a situation, and I think you have to think of this long and hard, it may be a situation that it has forced them, because they've been hurt so bad, that it's actually forced them to, quote-unquote, be far more responsible than necessarily what their parents had taught them to be. And I know that might sound slightly blasphemous, but we all share to a certain degree in spoiling our children. And we are responsible. And those that choose to say, I'm sorry, but I don't spoil my children, I'm going to tell you right now, you spoil them in some way. It may be with love, it may be with shelter, it may be with food, but in some way, shape, or form, you do spoil your children. Absolutely.
I'm guilty of all three.
How to get a mortgage right now, even with not so perfect credit. Lisa, this week you and I were sitting and talking, and you said you had a question from a consumer. Share the story with us.
They tried to get a credit card, and they were denied, and they were told to go get their free credit report from somewhere.
Go to freehoopdedoo.com and get your free credit report.com right now.
My comment to you was creditkarma.com, and you laughed, and then I had to explain to you that was a real thing.
No, that is real, yeah.
And, they were basically clearly like, I'm never going to own a home kind of thing. But they were still interested in getting some help. And so they were making a decision based on this thing that they got online, because it's on the internet, so I'm certain it doesn't lie. It's probably the roadmap to their life.
I'm sure it's absolutely 100% correct.
And so, we went through what you're going to talk about now, insofar as that may not be the case. And the big issue was a medical bill, a big medical bill that they could not pay, is exactly what she told me.
Sure.
So, and that's how that conversation came up, and then you read this great article. And
so many people that we talk with on a daily basis. It used to be back in the day, Tom, and Tom was riding high and you-know-what and tall cotton, just like the rest of us were, that you could talk to 10 potential buyers, and you could probably get 8 or 9 of them qualified.
Right.
In some way, shape, or form. Because if it wasn't a full doc program, it may be a subprime program, or it might be a no-ratio program, which means that we don't disclose your income, so no ratios are calculated. It might be a no-income, no-asset program, meaning that we don't disclose your income or your assets in order to qualify.
Right.
Meaning,
did you qualify via picture?
Yeah, no.
Like the prettiest people get the money? How does that work?
Yeah, you had to fax it to a number, and it was the Love Line. You faxed it to a number, and then they sent you a fax back saying whether they were approved, and it was really simple. Oh, that and credit score. Yes, that and credit score.
Okay, sounds a little communist. Pretty, not pretty.
No,
bad.
No, it was like
good.
Yeah.
We like you. You have a pretty name.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Picked.
There you go. Picked. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Sidetrack.
So, if you were very Midwest and had a very plain appearance and plain name, you know, John Smith, you might not get a mortgage. I'm just kidding. So, back in the day when the scales were tilted so just wildly, and really, and I say the scales of supply and demand were tilted so wildly, it caused a lot of folks a tremendous amount of harm. In most instances because of their own doing, maybe borrowing above their own means, or thinking that they would be able to, quote unquote, make the payments on this $430,000 mortgage and do it all on their own. There's no PMI. It's all tax deductible. That's how it was pitched to me. And then unfortunately, once the 2-year fixed began to adjust, all of a sudden the doors blew off and they could no longer maintain that payment.
Right.
Well, nowadays, those folks are still recovering. And believe it or not, whether it's out of shame, whether it's out of denial, whether it's just out of fear of rejection, those folks we talk to on a daily basis that haven't done anything necessarily. And for whatever reason, like in this particular instance, the perception was that a medical bill would stop you from qualifying for a mortgage. Well, not if it's FHA financing, as an example. It will not stop you. So let's kind of synthesize down what you would want to do in the first place. First thing you'd want to do in order to get a mortgage is you've got to talk with a mortgage professional. If it's not someone that you know, that you like, that you trust, utilize social media. Hey, has anyone dealt with a mortgage professional as of late that you had a great experience with?
Find me on Facebook and ask me that question.
Yeah, there you go. Lisa's a little jaded. I'm sure she would, you would refer me, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%.
That was a shameless plug. You've got to sit down and talk with someone. You've got to, number one, you've got to get a 3-bureau mortgage credit report. A 3-bureau mortgage credit report for an individual is going to run you just under $16, and for a couple, just under $20. And that's where you start. You definitely do not go to creditkarma.com or freecreditreport.com or freeconsumercreditreport.com, because that isn't the type of credit report that's utilized to underwrite a mortgage transaction. Whatever information is reported to that credit report, that's what we start with. If we've got to fix that or if we've got to manipulate it in some way, there's ways to do that. Now, let's say it's something that takes a whole lot more. Like, let's say you've got a foreclosure on there and some large judgment or a large let's say, collection for whatever reason, and it wasn't yours. Okay, I've heard that. It wasn't yours. We can also refer you to Keith Taylor at JL Taylor & Associates, and they can actually go through the process of cleaning some of those large things up that would stop you today from qualifying for a home. But you've got to understand exactly where you're at today. Next thing is, so after credit, we always try to compartmentalize things. Credit, income, and cash to close or equity. So the next thing is income. Well, what if you're self-employed and you're Schedule C and you make great line 1 income, but when it's all synthesized down and your bookkeeper or your CPA writes everything off on line 31, what's that bottom number? Okay? And you still have to take a 2-year average in order to qualify if you're self-employed. Well, if that 2-year average isn't enough, but let's say the income is increasing, what do? Well, we plan as well, and we help you to plan based upon the purchase price range that you want to be in. So we help to plan as far as how much income you need to claim on your taxes, which also means that you're going to have to pay some taxes. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't write everything off. You can't not pay taxes and still qualify for a home. It just doesn't work that way unless you incorporate and unless the income that flows from your corporation to you and your W-2 is sufficient to qualify. So that's why it's so important. This isn't a one-dimensional problem, and not that it's a problem, but it isn't a one-dimensional solution either. So you need to sit down and just talk with a professional that understands where to get you from the credit, the income, and maybe it's the cash to close. Maybe you haven't saved enough cash to close, or maybe you don't need to. Maybe you're able to utilize CHDAP in order to qualify for down payment assistance.
Piece of advice, too, don't try to outsmart the lender. Don't try to outsmart the loan officer. I guarantee you that unless you're open and transparent, anything you left out, they know it before you get to your car. I promise you.
My stepson's so white, they call him transparent, too. No, he's honest to goodness, he's white-skinned and red hair and blue eyes.
Good-looking kid.
Oh, he's a great kid.
That's right.
He's an amazing kid. Getting ready to go off to UCSB coming up here real quick, as a matter of fact.
Sincerely.
Absolutely. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or a question about something we shared with you on the show today, give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Search for your next home at valleywidesells.com. You can also listen to prior shows of the Real Estate Radio Network by going to our website as well. A big thank you. Mr. Hyatt, Tom Hyatt from Hyatt Real Estate. You are the best. Do you realize that?
Well, I have great friends. And they're sitting, 2 of them, or 3. And Johnny, here's 3, my new friend of today, although I did meet Johnny before. But thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to seeing you again.
It's always so great to have you here, buddy. Would you come back?
I will, and look forward to it.
Absolutely. And Lisa Casso, client mommy from Valleywide Homes.
Happy to be here.
Really good to have you here.
It's always good to be here, Craig.
Good, great. And you'll come back, right?
Oh, yes, of course I will.
Awesome. Johnny B.
I'll be looking for that offer on Monday.
Looking all scruffy. Yes, looking a Weathermaker, 5640. On Weathermaker, yes.
He taught me good how to be a real estate agent.
He taught me good. Johnny B. always makes us sound so good behind the mics. Tune in next week, Sunday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Make it a great day, Central California, and we will see you next week.
The preceding is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.